Alright, here we go. Gray screen of the game. Yep. Alright, so... I have gotten several requests to do a multiplayer game. Two specifically. Let's see, I think... here's one, there's the other one. This one, I might make a whole video just on how disastrous the strategy used by one of the teams was. They lost. But, yeah, I'm gonna go for this one. This one was not able to load last time. I tried it, so it might not load. I'm just gonna leave it for a few minutes and talk. So yeah, I've been away for a while. I haven't really done any, YouTube videos. I planned on doing them just for whatever game I happen to be playing at the time, but, I mean, you gotta find stuff to talk about, and for Skyrim, which was the game that I was going into at the time, there's a lot more doing than talking, and there's a bunch of little games that I've been jumping in between. I have played Paraworld a little bit. Giants, Citizen, Kabuto. I'd really like to make a series for Subnautica at some point, because I want to replay it, because they just had the official release, so I would like to do that one. And yes, I would like to do more Paraworld, but so far I only have 2 replays that have been sent to me, one of which, this one, I'm not sure if it just takes a really long time to load, or if it's just not loading overall, so we'll find that out. Also, I have bronchitis, so lots of water. Lots of water and strange pills. Close, damn you. Yeah, I just thought I should warn everyone, I firmly expect this to not play. Yeah, for some reason this one is messed up. I can play every other replay except for this one. I'm not sure if it's just the version of Mirage, because they have been releasing a lot of versions with new units, new materials, and balances, but... Alright, so that one did not work. It did record, so I'm probably just gonna cut a bunch of the quiet space out of there and just, you know... Come on, go through. Alright, so... This is going to be a... No, I'm not gonna do a skirmish game, I'm doing a replay. Long day at work. Alright, this is the one. I believe... Let's jump in and get started. Same protocol as usual. When we first get in, I'm going to slow the game down a bunch and start looking around, saying, you know, players' names, who they're playing as, and then we're going to get into a quick rundown of what the map is, because it is a very interesting map to play on. I think it's mildly based on a map from a different game, but I'm not entirely sure, because it is a Setton's Clutch from the Supreme Commander series, is a very, very popular map to have in a strategy game. Alright, so let's slow this down all the way to 1/100th normal speed. Everyone is just sort of standing in place. Remove that. Alright, so this is the bottom team we have here, and the northern team we have over here. It's going to be north and south. So, in the south we have Disguised playing as the Norseman in blue. Then we have Henry, who I think everyone knows from watching my last game, which I believe was with Henry, is just a beast playing as the Dragon Clan, which he is a beast at playing at. Though I'm sure he's a beast playing everything. And then we have Limji, who was the one who requested I make this... That is Limji, right? I want to make sure I say his name right. Yeah, Limji. Limji. In red, also playing as the Dragon Clan. In the north of the map, we have... Hold on, let me find my position. Almost there, almost... Here we go. Dryfun in green, playing as the Dragon Clan. DINWE, who I had in another replay, I believe, playing as the Norseman. And lastly, in Plum Crazy Purple, Peter, as the sole representative of the Dust Riders. Almost forgot the name there. So, this map, I'm actually going to speed it up now because people are actually moving around and doing things now. So, this map is relatively compact for most Paraworld maps. You know, you have a couple giant dinosaurs in this little pond here. Now, there are 2 ponds on either side of a single land bridge. This land bridge right here, this little strip here, is the only way to get from one side of the map to the other. There's no way to build a shipwright here. So you can't build ships to cross over. You know, you can't sneak around. It has to be this area. So you'd think this would be a very, very long match with, you know, each side building up lots of defenses, having all of their units hunker down around here to defend against whoever comes from this way. Now, early game, a good rush with a very strong production force will get you very, very far if you can take these dinosaurs out and take this area in front of their base, in front of the bases over here. And if you can build up a strong defense, it's very, very difficult for your opponent to take you out, because there's a lot of space up here to have your long-range units to fire down this way, and if your opponent commits attack to one side, you can attack from the other and hit them from behind. And that's going to play a factor in this game, because you'll see. Yeah, strategically, this is a very, very interesting map. It's very clear that there are 2 very defensive points around the central bridge. And of course, because this is Paraworld, see, in a good RTS, they spread out the resources around the map in key locations that are very, very important for the player to take. In this case, on the bridge, in the center of the bridge, there is a thing of stones worth 10,000 stone, which is astronomical compared to what they're normally worth. Normally, they're 5,000 or 1,400. Those are normal numbers. Well, as per usual, we have a lot of very strong production ability going on around here. Everyone is better than me at this. Everyone's sort of just building up, so I'm going to speed up this game a little bit. Yeah, 2 times fast. That should be good. Now, we do have an early move at the 4-minute 30-second mark by DINWE, building weaponsmiths, where you can get lancers and weapon upgrades relatively close to the front. Now, he's going to be building lancers to start taking out these guys, farming skulls, generally making a nuisance of himself to the poor families of Allosaurus and these Velociraptors. Those are oh, Deinonychus. Peter's moving several of his units up to the front, and walls are starting to get built. As I said before, this game is very defense-oriented, being able to hold your position while building a large army to assault the enemy's position. Now it looks like Peter is going straight through the gauntlet of predators, probably going to be trying to make an early move against his opponents before they have a chance to build any troops. But it looks like Limji already has a few troops available, more than enough to take out a Stegosaurus. Let's see who the Stegosaurus goes after. And we have more of Mobile Command Center moving out. That's an odd choice. And of course the buildup of these Lancers. So the Stegosaurus does go after Limji's base, goes right across a defense tower, which is very unfortunate for it, and the Gatling Rider. Quick word, after a recent update, the Gatling Rider has been made insanely powerful. I believe in the latest update it was weakened slightly so that it wouldn't be as ultra powerful as it is now, but you will see it gets a lot more use than it used to. Technically a good thing because you do want your troops to get used, you want all of the units in the game to be useful. There is the unfortunate side effect, though, that it gets way overused now, so it's probably going to need to get weakened soon. So more units from Peter, specifically the command center, for some reason going around. See, there's those Gatling Riders. And I have no idea what his plan here was, maybe he wanted to set up something over here. No, he went straight this way. I don't know where the heck he planned on going with that. By the way, Peter, if you see this video, comment. Tell us what your plan was.
Sometimes I'm so full.
And that is going to die. It looks like he attempted to have one of his workers return, and it didn't make it very far. Quick snack for the Allosaurus. Now we have a pretty decent-sized group of Lancers here, and the temple's starting to be built. That is going to be a very, very strong first move for them to get out and start taking out these front units so that the temple can be built. Now the south team is also starting to build gates, both of which built by Henry. However, they are very, very low. I believe that this map was specifically designed so that they would build their defenses along here and down here. But building as few walls as possible, generally close to your base, tends to be the better idea. Usually just because if they get damaged, workers have an easier time reaching them, and if they're attacked, your units can very, very quickly charge toward the threat. So it looks like he's killing these Saltosaurs. Henry's killing the Saltosaurs, while up north, Peter is attacking and assaulting and killing Allosaurs. And the temple's going up from Dryfun. It looks like he's going to be joining the fray up here relatively soon. Now, of course, it is very important that a player builds a temple relatively quickly behind their walls, just because it means that they can have melee units charge out and they can use the handy-dandy little troop selector to get any troops that are getting injured and bring them back to the temple so they can heal, so they can have just the constant rotation of troops. As you can see by all the temples sprouting up around all of these entrances. Now, at the beginning of the game, I was seriously considering that these guys were going to be the ones to win, because, they have the strong early push. They have a huge number of Lancers, and of course animal units are huge in this game, so Lancers are very, very useful. And they're building some very strong defenses with these fire traps all over the place. I mean, look at all these troops. They must have these guys outnumbered, but looking down here, they have more of the strong, higher-level units building up. Plus, the Gatling Riders are slightly overpowered, as you can see by Henry's mass use of them with the war drums following behind them. War drums, I tend to not like them. They are very, very useful, but I don't usually build the area of effect buff units. Paraturbo Guardians up here, so they are starting to get to level 3 units too. Or Epoch 3 units, sorry. It is very curious, some of the moves that Peter is making, like putting defenses over here by these fields rather than having them out front, where they're more useful, because I believe that air units was disabled for this map. Because when you do start a game, you can turn off certain features, certain units, so that like you can't have flying units, you can't have titans, or you can have as many titans as you want. There are a lot of options. Now we're approaching the 15-minute mark. Henry is making his early move with a lot of Gatling riders, and several Salto launchers thrown into the mix. Now, I'm not sure if this is newly added or if it's something I never noticed before, but the Gatling guns actually have little bullets that shoot out of them now. And a stone quarry and temple are being built up front and center, so they can start taking advantage of those stones. Very, very aggressive push, which is pretty well expected from Henry. I think we can just sort of assume that he's going to mass produce and push at the last possible minute. So, now this is, I think, was probably the biggest mistake made early on by the northern team, was DINWE having all of his lancers, which are strong against animal units, bow down out of a fight against a bunch of animals. I mean, I understand that the Gatling riders are very strong, but the advantage that lancers have over them would make it very, very advantageous. Dryfun pushing out, trying to get the attack going, but he can't do anything to it. There are two full teams here, and he decides to fall back and allow the traps to take care of them. And there they go! They're dying, dropping like flies. Fire is a very, very effective tool of war. This is a very good sign of it. Unfortunately, they now see the traps, so that they can now start attacking the traps and taking them out. Meanwhile, Dryfun's sitting over here with a whole bunch of troops and not really doing a whole lot with them. This would be a perfect opportunity to attack from the rear, because they're all focused on getting those traps out of the way, and all these archers are coming forward. It's a perfect time. Come on, move! And he doesn't want to. So yes, it's an almost perfect opportunity. They're actually falling back now. So this would be a very, very good time to start hitting them hard. From two sides at once. A two-front offensive is 10 times as effective as a one-front offensive. Which is part of the reason why the map is set up like this. So that if these guys try attacking this way, an enemy force can come through this way and start hitting them. Peter goes out with a small group of Ankylos to start launching these small velociraptors at them, which takes a small amount of their attention away, but you know, it's not really as effective. And they go after the temple, which is of course the first thing you need to go after when you assault an enemy base. It's outside the wall, so it's an easy target for them. Limji making good use of those Salta transports with the healer. Looks like several mortars. I almost said mortarmen. And I'm not sure what's going on with these guys, because it looks like they were about to go through this door and start attacking here. But it looks like they're actually going around, which is the absolutely wrong way to go about this, while these guys are just sort of sitting here. So yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. This is I'm not sure exactly what Peter is doing. DINWE doesn't seem to be getting the concept of attacking your opponent from behind, which really would have forced them to back down and go this way. Oh, they have a Titan. They have two Titans. Disguised enters the field with the Triceratops Titan. He had several units in here before, but it was mostly Henry, and it still is mostly Henry, with a little bit from Limji holding off. So the battle mammoths are pushing their way in, but I don't know, I feel like this is way too little, way too late. It's a valiant effort of defense, but it looks like it's going to be all for naught. He's forced to retreat with what few units he has. I don't think Henry lost any troops in that. The Triceratops took a decent amount of damage and is forced to retreat back a bit, but Henry's monk is healing it. So yeah, it doesn't look like they have any force down here that's going to be able to hold them off. Ooh, they have a... Why are there a whole bunch of Brachiosaurs just sort of sitting there? Huh. Yeah, let's see what... Because the Brachios, they're not that powerful, but they have a very strong area of attack powers, and they have a large amount of health. So I'm wondering if those are going to be used, or if he just forgot that they were there. Queen Tarna has been produced, very, very powerful unit with her freezing ability that freezes enemies for a short amount of time after she attacks them, which can effectively nullify an enemy target as long as she lives and attacks the same unit. I have a large group of enemies. A large group of enemies from the southern team pushing their way in. Clicking on them quickly, it looks like they are all fully upgraded. This is not going to go well for the North team. North team really does not have a lot of troops. A lot of solid units. A full bracket of T3 battle mammoths, but that's not going to be enough for a full bracket of Saltas. 2 full brackets of Saltas. And Titans. It's not going to be effective. And it looks like he might know that, or he may also just be having trouble getting them organized and getting them to move, because it looked like over here that he was starting to move them this way before they backed off and went around the other way. So maybe, I don't know, maybe this gate forced itself closed and wouldn't open again, or... I got no idea. All I know is there's a reckoning coming from the south. What would really be nice is if these replays recorded conversations so I could know who organized who. Because normally in most strategy games there's up. Didn't even bother putting up a fight. There he goes, into the dirt. The best way... The way most RTS games end up going is there's one person who sort of directs everyone. pays a little bit more attention to what's going on the map than to their own units, and just sort of have their troops follow the rest of the army, and tends to direct people. Okay, we need you to defend here, we need you to try and get behind them here, and I really, really wish I saw what people were saying in this in chat. It doesn't look like there's any ability to do that. So I won't be able to tell you, but it looks like there was a lot more cooperation on the southern side than the northern side, and that really is the key to winning RTS with many, many players, is cooperating with each other. And I now firmly agree with anyone who says that the Gatling Rider is seriously overpowered, because that was a level 5 Bella that got taken out in literally less than 4 seconds. That's a little much. Looks like Peter finally woke up and decided to send some of his troops out. Again, I really think this might have been a case of too little too late, because his base is getting eaten up. I'm going to speed this up a bit, because I don't remember anything else interesting happening the first time I watched this, so I'm going to speed it up to double speed, set speed to 2. Of course, you have all these little muzzle flashes from all these Gatling Riders. And it looks like... Ah, here we go! An attack southward by Peter, trying to force his way through. It may be effective, it may not. You will notice the Raptor Handler has a new Raptor as his companion. It used to be the turkey-sized blue one, now they have the much larger Utah Raptor, something closer to what you'd see in Jurassic Park. Very unfortunate that he ended up running into a set of Titans, and it looks like Disguised built a wall down here to make sure that nobody tried to counterattack them. I'm not seeing any builder units for Peter on the map anywhere. It looks like he has basically been wiped out. No one there. But yeah, it looks like he's trying to make his final push. It's not going to be effective against 3 Titans and several Epoch 3 units. It's not going to work out well, as you can clearly see. Henry's giant, monstrous beast of an army pushes south, takes out those gates, and they're probably going to check down here to see if there's any builder units. I don't see any, so... Oh, wow. Alright, Dryfun saw the writing on the wall, got a couple of his better units and moved them back, and just built a giant wall of, those. And it looks like he's just building a bunch of pylons. This is actually a relatively common strategy in strategy games when you have units that will ignore walls that aren't in their way. It forces the opposing team to split up a bunch, which means that you can pick them off one by one. It's not going to be effective against this force just because they're so massive and because units very easily clip into each other. You know, choke points aren't really that effective in this game unless you have area of effect weapons. What would be really interesting is if he connected these walls piece by piece and just had this long zigzagging track, like you know, force them to go through it like some sort of tower defense game. Alright, so this is pretty much the end of the game. A large large army, especially for Paraworld, moving its way into Dryfun's base slowly and carefully because they know he's a half-decent player who knows what he's doing. He's going to have something set up. He's going to have some kind of trap laid out for them, which, yeah, he does. It's not going to be very effective, but he has it. Now, the big question I'm wondering about is, where is... Oh, right, I almost forgot. Replays in this game don't tell you when someone dies, so okay, never mind. Yeah. Peter's dead. Sorry, Peter. So you have this massive army of units just sort of sitting here. Sitting here questioning when the move-in is going to take place. I'm probably just gonna fast forward through most of this. They are being very, very careful with this push forward, even though it's 3-on-1. They're building Dilophosaurus nests around here to spawn Dilophosaurus who defend just their local area, and it looks like they may be trying to attack with that, which is a really, really odd choice considering they are firmly capable of just steamrolling them. It is an interesting strategy, though, just, you know, creeping forward with Dilophosaurus nests. They may also be using them to, spot out traps. Meanwhile, Dryfun's just sitting here with, Ada over here, just being like, hey, what's going on? Now, something I've noticed is they have all these workers over here. They don't have any workers hiding over here or anything. Which would probably be useful, but... Oh! Dryfun has moved over here. He does have units on this half of the map. They've cleared it out, and looks like he's just hiding them in corners, which is... I don't know why he doesn't try to build a, dojo anytime soon. So yeah, I'm not sure what these guys are waiting for. Yeah, it looks like they just build a Dilophosaurus nest, wait for it to spawn its Dilophosaurus, and then just kills them off. Kills off the nest themselves, and they just run around and start killing things. I feel like I could count that as an exploit. You know, build a Dilophosaurus nest, destroy it, build another one, destroy it, build another one, destroy it. On the one hand, yes, you could consider it's a bug instead of a feature, because it is difficult and long strategy to do and really not advantageous over the long term. But still, you know, maybe have them, you know, just slowly die, or have them go hostile to everyone. Alright, so we have this monstrous convoy of just, you know, what the hell going through. Honestly, at this point, I feel like Henry could, betray everyone. You know, use diplomacy to break ranks with his allies and just start slaughtering them. He could do that. He probably could. Maybe. Probably not. Never mind. Triceratops with several. Are these good again? Are Kentrosauruses a useful unit anymore? Apparently they are, because Disguise, or at least Disguise seems to think so. So yes, Dryfun is not going to give up easily. Well, I mean, they're gonna plow through his base easily, but he's not gonna give up easily. He has this nice little series of defenses built up over here to protect himself. All those traps taking out all the Dilophosaurs, so they were there for traps, okay. And for some reason, it looks like they may have used one of those special ability things that makes everything visible for a few seconds. But now they know that the walls are there, and they know what to do. They know to attack that one tower in front of them, and they'll... Wow, that gate went down really fast. So now they're going to charge through, and I think he knows that there are traps there now. He does have one HQ left just in case they get through, which of course they do, and all of these traps go off at once. My computer cannot handle all of these traps going off at once. Look at those flames just blink. It is doing a pretty swell amount of damage to these guys. I'm seeing a couple of disguised units getting taken out by the flames, and they do eventually make it across. The flames, of course, do not last forever. And they do push in. He had a smoke screen guarding Queen Tarna as she ran around, or Ada, whichever one it was. And Ada just tries to run through and run away, but it looks like she was consumed by her own flames. You know, poetic justice. And of course, the one lone Salta launcher still valiantly firing against the enemy, and he dies too. And now they're all dead. So now all he's doing is going around and trying to hunt these disguised units, which he does end up just sort of killing himself just because, you know, they're found out. That is I believe that is one of the abilities you can get researched for the various monks in the 3 factions. It sets up a flare which shows disguised units. So now we have this massive army here on the opposite side of the map from where Dryfun is desperately rebuilding his base, and he's actually getting it up pretty quick. You know, he's got a nice little lumber mill set up. He's got a couple guys running around collecting wood so we can build the other buildings. It's not going to be effective, I don't think. Yeah, this isn't going to end well for him. You know what? I'm just going to speed it up because I think we all know how this is going to go. Get them to the other side of the map a little faster. But yeah, the writing is on the wall. Dryfun's defiance can only last a little while longer. A little while. Let's say 50 seconds. Assuming they actually move into attack. So yes, after I'm done with this, I'm going to edit it, upload it, and then I'm going to start playing Subnautica again. I think I am going to try and do another video for that. Yeah, no, they're not going to last very long. I don't have any units to defend with. And he only has 1, 2, 2 builders left. So now there are 2 things to take away from this. One, a very, very strong offense is a very, very good defense. They were able to push forward very, very quickly after Henry had that initial push, and you know, built these walls here to defend. from any back attacks. Really, the biggest issue here was that I don't think the northern team would have won. I will very, very clearly say this. I don't think they would have won. Even if DINWE had used his units properly and attacked Henry's attacking force from the rear here several minutes ago. Yeah, I don't think they can outproduce Henry. That's one of his biggest strengths, is just the sheer number of units he can churn out in a small amount of time. If it weren't for that one move later on in the game, I feel like they would have lasted a pretty good amount of time longer. And yeah, the last builder was eventually killed, looks like by this set of war drums, apparently. Or probably by this Titan who found them. But yeah, it was a mix of very strong production capabilities. I mean, all those animal farms, dinosaur farms. Yeah, the high production and the large conglomerate mass focusing on one side without any real challenge from the rear is what pushed this team forward to their relatively quick victory. An hour. The game ended a little while ago, and we're currently at 48 minutes and 17 seconds. I feel like a 6-player game would end up being longer than that, especially if you have a map like this where there's only one venue through which your opponent can attack. So yeah. Lesson for next time. Coordinate your attacks with your allies and attack your enemy from behind. Don't be honorable. Hit him from the rear. Back of the head. Smack him.